48 volt again to to GaN, and this will allow us to power the 1 megawatt server rack. Now, this is not happening tomorrow. This is more of a 2027 roadmap. It was when Nvidia and others will want each rack to service 1 megawatt of power to feed these power-hungry AI chips. So that's what we look at as the future roadmap beachhead of the company. When we look historically at the company, we did achieve a record 83 million in revenue in 2024. It was a slight growth year over year on revenue. But what was more interesting was our gallium nitride shipments were up 50% to all-time highs in 2024. So this lends itself to our silicon carbide business was slowing down as the rest of the market was as well. But we are well positioned going forward to take advantage of the new AI data center power hungry usage, and that's where gallium nitride will come to play. Financial situation is going very well. We have 75 million plus at the end of Q1 with no debt, and we have reduced our cash burn significantly from 20 million a quarter that you might have seen at the beginning of 2024 to around 10 million a quarter going forward. And we have announced publicly that we have around 450 million in long-term in lifetime value as it relates to design wins that we achieved in 2024. Now, these design wins will take time. Some are faster, some are slower, but that is a key achievement for us as we are looking to convert old silicon into the new wide bandgap technologies. So that concludes the presentation, but happy to answer any questions as it relates to that or other topics.
Thank you so much for the detailed information. So does anyone have any questions regarding the topic we just talked about or any other topics? Please feel free to unmute yourself. Yes, Ariel, please.
Hi, this is Ariel, and I have some questions. And my first one is that what products does a company provide in NV, like the 800V HVDC solution? So can you introduce more about the architecture of this product? Thank you.
Sure. So in the 800 volt solution, we provide two GaN products. One is a 650 volt product, and another one is the low voltage GaN 100 volt product. Today, these are both in the market. We started the company with the 650 volt, and that's what the mobile market is using today. We recently cross-licensed with Infineon to have a very solid 100 volt product to bring to market, and that product is the primary reason for that product is to bring it into data center. So this allows us to bring that full solution to the rack. With the ultra high voltage silicon carbide, today we do have anything from a 650 volt to a 1700 volt, and we are in development from 2.2 to 6.5 kilovolt products, and that will play very well to the ultra high voltage. But all those products are available today.
Thank you. And my next question is that I'm wondering what are the main differences between the 800 volt HVDC and the current architecture, and what are the main reasons for these changes?
Right. So the main difference and reason for these changes today is when the power comes from the grid. If you bring it all the way down to 220 volts, as it is today, you don't want to step it. You can step it down further, but you're sort of wasting power from the grid. So you're not getting as much out of the grid as you could. You're losing a lot of efficiency. By keeping it at 800 volt, you don't need to bring the power down as much, and therefore you're not uh, losing some of that power when you pull it off the grid. And so just a more efficient way of keeping the power level as high as possible and as safe as possible as you bring it in the rack versus losing it on the way in.
Okay, thank you. So my last question is that how does the company's like gain advantages help it stand out among the numerous competitors? Thank you.
Right. I think on the gallium nitride side, we pride ourselves in being an integrated circuit. Therefore, we're not just making a good discrete, although we can make a discrete product. It's about integrating as much of this of different elements into gallium nitride to get the best out of gallium nitride. And by doing an integrated circuit, we are able to basically make a more reliable, more robust product and take the best of both worlds, whether it be silicon or and GaN, to make the sort of the best ultimate solution out there. Um, and so that allows us to sort of also provide better system solutions. I think that's one of our advantages as well compared to competition is we pride ourselves in offering the full system. When we when we first went to market with mobile market, it was all about bringing the full solution and trying to work on the supply chain with all component vendors to bring down the most efficient product to market and working with the customer directly. We will do the same thing on the data center side. We won't just give them the component and have them work with it. We're going to work with them directly on it to build the, the right system for the rack, as GaN is very new to the data center market and therefore needs some extra assistance. Um, but that's how we work today. On the silicon carbide market, that is more of a discrete solution. It's a vertical substrate, and so you don't have that integration. However, our technology is prone to those higher voltages, while our competitors um, are very good today at the 1200 volt, which is used in the traction.
Okay, thank you for the questions and the answers. I got two more questions in the chat box, so I'll just repeat the question. So can you share a bit more about the color about 800 volt competition landscape? What is the market share of 800 volt?
Right. No, that's great. So 800 volt is brand new. So there is no market share today. The landscape as we see it today, NVIDIA announced this, was that, other GaN companies that were labeled in there were Infineon and Texas Instruments. They also labeled as MPS and ST. Both those companies are more on the silicon or silicon carbide side. So when we look at the competitive landscape, we definitely look at Infineon as a key competitor there. But while they are a competitor, we also have a very close collaboration with Infineon via that license agreement. And the reason for the license agreement is so that you can bring two sources to the data center market. We have learned over time that these are big markets, but everyone needs dual sourcing to eventually get to the finish line and be comfortable with a brand new technology. And so with Infineon being a competition, it also is helping convert the market and enabling growth in GaN.
So the second question in the chat box is, could you break down your SiC versus GaN content value within NVIDIA's GB200 versus 300 Rubin rack?
Right. That's right. With the Rubin today, we are still working on market sizing of our content. But one thing that we are prepared to say is for every kilowatt of power at each stage of the process, our content would be approximately $5. So if it was if the DC to DC was a 12 kilowatt, you're looking at approximately $60 of content um, for each server rack, but it's at each stage. And so overall, we think this is a enormous opportunity, and we plan to size it out in the future. But we're still working on what we believe could be the market size as data center goes into 800 volt.
Great. Thank you so much. I've also collected two questions from our clients. So the first one would be, could you please outline the current market dynamics of GAN and the main growth drivers for this year and next?
Yeah, so the current market dynamics for GAN is GAN was first went into the market as it was a new technology. It provided smaller footprint. Now, GAN is moving from what is used to be considered a very high-end technology into the mainstream marketplace. Gallium nitride in general is built on a very inexpensive substrate of 50, maybe $50 silicon substrate. So as GAN becomes more mature, the cost curve will come down significantly on GAN, allowing it to be more mainstream across multiple markets. So that we are in that element of the gallium nitride growth where it's moving from that high end to more mainstream. And then I forget what the second question was.
So, I didn't, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the second question is regarding the company's end application product portfolio. How do you view the revenue composition changes in the coming years? Will the proportion of non-consumer electronics demand increase significantly in the next 2 years, or will we need to wait until 2028 when 800 volt is widely adopted?
Right. I think this year and going to next year, I believe the vast majority of our revenue will still be mobile, as that is the market that's sort of going from high end to mainstream. But we will slowly be increasing our data center revenue over time, and we expect the mix to shift pretty significantly as you enter 2027, which is when we believe that the 800 volt revenue will start to kick in a significant manner.
Okay, I think I also got another question, and I'm mindful of the time, so this will be the last question we have. Regarding the company's end application product portfolio, how do you view the revenue composition in the coming years? I think that's the same question as last one. Yeah. Yeah. Does anyone have any more questions online right now? Okay, if not, I'm also mindful of the time right now because you have to leave before 30, right?
But yeah, no problem. Maybe I can do some closing comment. In conclusion, listen, this is we always look for that tipping point, that power usage. I think you can think of Navitas and its technologies and when it will convert and ramp into the market is when more power is needed to power something or to move quickly on the mobile side. So it helped initially with mobile, as we wanted, the mobility was important. Data center, it's all about energy efficiency. Solar will be the same thing. And with EV, it'll be, at that same time, eventually it'll move from the silicon in the OBC to the gallium nitride in the onboard charger as we look to charge our cars faster and or extend the range. So I think long-term gallium nitride will convert the silicon market, and we are happy to be a part of that story and hope to continue to be the technology leader.
Sure. Thank you so much. If our investors after the meeting, if they have more questions, is it okay if I can pass down the questions to Lori maybe or you?
Absolutely, yeah, that would be great.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Lori, for the arrangement. And I'm mindful it's 8 p.m. there, right? Thank you guys for the time, and we hope to see you next time.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great evening. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.